right now. This division is on fire. Everyone's paying attention. People can punch, people can knock people out, people can choke people the fuck out. It's a fun time to be a bantamweight.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You didn't really give us much down here on your left. You didn't really give us much to break down technically, but initially, when you had the submission and he got out of it, right, you had to be patient so as not to burn out your arms. But at what point did you know that you had won the fight? What did you feel that you knew you could sink it in and finish?
Once I propped up on my right elbow, and I was going over this with our coach, Jason Rao, one of our coaches at CRBJJ. He's a phenomenal grappler, world-class, man. And I knew I had him dead to rights, and it was a matter of whether or not he was going to tap or just go to sleep. You know, he had the warrior spirit. He fought all the way through, and he went to sleep on his shield. And much respect to that, man. Most people would have tapped, you know. But I'm going to break it down on my podcast, The Weekly Scratch. So check out my YouTube channel. That's a plug.
Yeah, he's a super tough guy, man. Were you surprised? I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. Somebody comes out the way you did, and you're all over him. Like, you really can't get out of that rut, and you just gave him no opportunity to do that. Was that your game plan? Was just to go right out, or was just something you felt in the moment?
Yeah, I had restless nights thinking multiple ways how this fight could have played out, and one of them was, you know, trading with him, going to war. Both of us ended up in the hospital. And then the other one was like, why not just fucking wrestle this guy? This guy clearly gives up his back. He gives up takedowns. And I know he's a good grappler. He's got a good Kimura lock defense that he does whenever he is in a threat of a takedown. But I knew my grappling was on another level. I was like, the art of Sun Tzu, man, you know, take the path of least resistance. And I did that tonight. And I tell people, man, it's not fluff. I don't like to hype myself up. I just believe in my training, believe in what my team is telling me. And I think everyone's going to realize in this division, if I get a hold of your legs and I take you down, you're in for a long motherfucking night.
Congratulations on the victory, Aljamain. Curious to know, a couple days ago when you entered the octagon and you felt around and it was a smaller octagon than what you're used to, did that change the strategy for this fight at all whatsoever, quicker to get to him in the round?
No, I think it makes it worse for my opponents, honestly. I think you got some of these guys, they're heavy hitters. You know, that's always a threat. But I think I got pretty solid awareness, pretty good head movement. The main thing that I was concerned about with Sandhagen was stepping into a knee, shooting into a knee if I didn't set it up the right way. And that was the main thing I focused on. I was like, dude, as long as you're aware, you use your level changes, you use your feints. His coach said, he's just looking to wrestle. And I made sure I told him, yep, I am. I hope you're ready to wrestle too, because that's what we're going to do. You know, so I think wrestling really dictates the pace of the fight. And, you know, I wasn't the greatest wrestler coming out of high school and college, but, you know, I two-time All-American D3. And, you know, I think I got a very unorthodox style, and it's been beneficial thus far, man. So far, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm glad I got my wrist fixed. Now I can get back to my takedown ways. Before I was kind of forced to stand because I couldn't really maintain the grip with the takedowns. But I'm back, baby. The backpack is back.
I was going to get to that. A couple of months ago when we spoke at the PI, you were still recovering from that wrist surgery. Was it 100% for this fight recovered?
Nah, I mean, strength-wise, yes. Probably not all the way 100%, but I can grip, I can squeeze, I can lock people down. It makes it harder for them to 2-on-1 and break my grip. I pride myself on doing farmer carries with 100-pound dumbbells, 110-pound dumbbells, and then I had to drop down to about 60. So can you imagine the deficit in that, how much that really affected my training and what I'm used to doing out there? So to be able to get back up to that and start to build that, my wrist range of motion, this is the most range of motion I have in my wrist right now. So definitely limited. I'm going to stay on it, and hopefully for the next one, I'll have everything back to as close to 100% as possible. At the end of the day, man, it's a fight. No one's 100%, and it's a battle about the mental. It's the mental, man. Everything is up here.
You won the bet. We'll keep our word.
Oh, we got to shave that thing. We got to shave that thing.
Aljo, Jim Greasehover, cage side seat. Just one for me. It's interesting in sports when we see a champion enter that zone. Feels like you're entering that zone right now where everything's coming together physically, mentally, confidence, humility, even your social awareness. There's something about you right now. There's an air about you that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. How would you describe that zone that you're entering, and how would you describe the growth that you've experienced as you've entered that zone over the last year or so?
It's surreal, man, just watching my journey to get here. You know, I've had some not embarrassing, but to me, embarrassing losses where it was just like, I know I'm better than that, and my skill set, my abilities, and just kind of coming up short. But, I took the long road. We came back. We worked our asses off. We got back to this position, and just having confidence in myself and never losing faith. I think that's what it's all about, man. It's so easy to beat yourself up. You lose one fight, and you can hit rock bottom. And I've lost probably one of the worst ways possible, 1 minute, Marlon Moraes, I get dropped. I almost get a nasty triangle armbar from my back in a scuffle, and I get up, I'm over anxious, and I no respect for anything, and I just shoot in, not setting anything up, and, I go out cold. And doing the dab, everyone making fun of that or whatever. So one of the most embarrassing ways to lose is, but you know what? I put my head down, I kept working. I'm a blue-collar guy, man. I'm a hard worker. I work for everything I have, and I pride myself on that, just my work ethic, and no one will outwork me. That's one thing I truly do believe in. If you're on that treadmill next to me, just know you're getting off before I get off the treadmill.
Aljamain, straight down in the middle. Your division is on fire right now. It's incredibly competitive, but how much do you wish that you still could have gotten that Henry Cejudo fight?
Honestly, I don't care. Henry's a great dude, really good competitor. He's a two-division champion, and the way he did it, taking out some really big names. I do wish he fought some actual new blood, some top-level contenders, for his legacy. But it is what it is. It would be nice eventually if, I win the belt, perfect world. He comes back, comes out of retirement, and we have a big payday fight. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at things. This bantamweight division's on fire. It's going to go on without him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get that itch and want to come back. There's a lot of good guys out here right now, and it's an exciting time to be a bantamweight. You got the O'Malley's coming up. Garbrandt just came back with a big win. Stamen went up to 45. He took out Kelleher from Long Island. I train one of my training partners. We kind of do a lot of cross training, and that's a guy who's riding a 3-fight win streak. So you got Marab Dishvili, my teammate. This is an exciting time. Rob Font, all these guys, everyone's so good. Marlon Moraes, Pidion, I could go on and on. Dominic Cruz is ranked 12th. That says something, So this division's on fire, and I'm just happy to be one of the guys who's leading that pack right now. Thank you, guys. Stay safe and drink tequila.
All right. Well, happy post-fight, everybody. Yeah. Mike Heck here for MMAfighting.com. As we just heard from a very happy Aljamain Sterling, UFC 250 is officially in the books, and I am being joined by the man with the best mustache in MMA media today, Jose Youngs, who is in Las Vegas. Jose, the card is ended. We just heard from Aljo after his first-round submission win over Corey Sandhagen. Just an incredible performance from him. We started streaming that a little bit late, and we apologize for that. Aljo just sort of jumped up there, didn't want to hear what Amanda Nunes' scorecards are going to read because we pretty much knew how that was going to end. But was there anything, Jose, that we may have missed in the early stages of that scrum?
Yeah, I think Casey missed that introduction you gave me about my mustache. Can you say it again? I think Casey missed
the best mustache in MMA media.
Ooh, there you go, Casey.
Trucks, man.
It's on record. But nothing. He spoke a lot about the protests going on right now. He said when he gets back to Long Island, I don't know what part of you came in on. When he gets back to Long Island, he wants to really participate in the movement going on right now. Spoke very openly about how minorities are being treated in America and how people that say all lives matter and Black lives matter and blue lives matter and this and that. Can't people telling me things outside. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it's nothing in terms of his actual fight. Like he was really obviously really happy with his performance. Was quote on cloud 9. But I asked him like straight up, like, will you join the protest when you get back? And he just went on this really long tangent about how people. He said he referred to it as us, and with that, Cody Garbrandt's about to talk, so I'm gonna shut up.
Okay. We're gonna hear from Cody Garbrandt, who had a huge win tonight over Rafael Assunção.
Cody, now that is a way to return to the octagon. Now you've had a few moments to digest what the performance you just put on. Where's your emotions at right now?
I feel great. You know, it's been a long journey to get back to the win column. You know, I went from 12-0 world champion at 25 years old and a 3-fight skid. You know what I mean? And that sometimes happens in life. You know, you go through those growing periods. You know, and that's what it was, a growing, learning period. I kept motivated. I kept driven. Just kept having to pick myself up from the ground zero and build myself back up mentally, physically, and emotionally. And my passion and love is here for the sport to stay. And that's it. I'm excited to be back.
Absolutely. We could see that change in you. You started fast but patient. It looked like, you know, all the things you told us this fight week were put to play there. But then the finish, right on the buzzer, you took that big dip. Talk us through what's going through your mind, because your eyes didn't deviate from Rafael at that point.
Yeah, I felt great. You know, all week, Coach Mark and my other coaches were saying, hey, the inside shots, you know, that's a lot of your knockouts come from the inside shots. So, you know, roll dip. And that's what we worked on all camp, you know, just getting back to myself, not being in front of someone, I got the speed, I got the power, I got the vision. Don't let these guys, I don't need to stand in front of these guys and brawl and put on a show. I can pick them apart just like that. I stayed calm. I waited for a sun salad to open up. I was doing level changes, doing what I needed to do in our game plan with my coaches to get that victory. And it feels so good to just be so in sync with the coaches and to finally get that victory over a tough adversary.
Having had all this time off now, have you thought about how soon you'd like to get back in there?
I heard that they're going to Fight Island, and there's only one name that I want to fight in Fight Island. That's Peter Yan, you know. So, Dana, I'm healthy. I'm ready. I want this strap back. I want this world championship back. It's vacant for a reason, and that's my destiny to get it back. So I'll go through whoever they need me to go through, but it's inevitable that it's mine.
So do you feel you're going to need to fight a fight or two more with obviously Aldo and Yan lined up, and then Aljamain possibly guaranteed that next shot? Is it two, maybe 1-2 more fights? What do you think?
Let's do a tournament. Let's do a bantamweight tournament. You know, let's get us in there. Let's go to Fight Island for a few months. Go get quarantined out there and just bring our coaches, bring enough trifecta food to eat. A little plug right there. But and let's go to war. Let's get this battle. Let's get this tournament, and let's see who the real champion is. Let's go back to the old school days.
And last question from me, with having Mark Henry there as well as your Team Alpha Male team, what felt different about tonight in terms of the coaching combination that you had?
You know what? I'm so thankful and so blessed to have those men in my corner, Chris Holdsworth, Mike Malott, and Coach Mark Henry for tonight. As far as my training partners and coaches in Jersey and in Sacramento, it's been a long time, you know, coming, and they've stuck with me. They believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself or didn't have the hunger that you needed to. In this sport, you have to be hungry. You have to be a killer. You have to keep it on. You got poor kids coming from up all over the world to have a dream to lace these UFC gloves on. And I got back to the smallest points of things, getting free Reebok gear, getting picked up from the hotel, the smallest things you don't really think about. Like, I was so excited to be here, fight week. I know I didn't get to see my family, my son. I was missing my son. Obviously, we're going through a global pandemic, but the focus was there, the passion's there, and having those guys in my corner through it all has been amazing. Just very thankful for them, the sacrifices they put in, time away from their family, time away from what they love to do, to spend a week in Renaissance Inn, you know, quarantine, getting COVID tests shoved down their throats. You know what I mean? Like, hey, those guys I would love to have in my foxhole every single time I go to war.
Sounds like it was worth it. Great to have you back.
Thanks, Caroline.
Cody, you said all the right things along the way, man, and you were always professional. But during this stretch, was there ever a time that even you started to doubt yourself and think, maybe I'm not that guy anymore?
You know, that's one thing that I was blessed with, man. I never doubted myself. You know, I didn't have that fire. I didn't have that hunger to go in there every day and I felt like I was just clocking in. It was a job. You know, fighting was, when I had nothing, I had fighting. I always had fighting. Even when I was trying to be away from fighting, run away, crawl away, I always got sucked back into fighting. And this is my true destiny, is to be the best fighter. This is what God has blessed me with, the abilities, the speed, the power, the never giving up. You know, I mean, there's so many people in this life that get knocked down and they stay down and they don't get up. I was freaking on top of the world. I was 25 years old, world champion, defending one of the greatest bantamweights in the world from a 3-fight skid. You know how hard that was to get up and do that? You know what I mean? But I have people that watch me. I have people that look up to me. I have a son that I want to show that the work ethic, and no matter how times you fail at life, you got to learn and grow and just pick yourself up and keep marching forward. So I want everyone to just be motivated by what I was able to do, and just, and that's what I hope to do for the rest of my career. Is no matter how many times I win or lose or how many titles I win, but at the end of the day, man, I just never give up. No matter what you're going through in life, it's a hard world. It's not a fair world, and it's a crazy world we live in. You just got to keep a goal, keep driven, and keep your desire to be the best.
We saw a little bit of the showboating that we've come to love from you. Was there a moment in there where you felt comfortable and said, okay, I can have a little fun in here?
Yeah, man, I just love to fight, and when I'm on like that, I like to have a little bit of, showmanship. But as Untitled, we had a couple conversations inside there. He kept throwing that wheel kick, and I was like, man, that's like the 4th time you threw that, bro. Like, he's like, I'm gonna keep throwing it. And I'm like, all right, I'll keep dodging that shit, hopefully, and don't get me with one. But hit him a couple times hard. I knew he was hurt, and I was like, oh, that one hurt him. I yelled at the coach. He's like, oh, he's hurt. Like, let me just slow it down a little bit, And he chatted back, oh, that's going to take more than that. I'm like, all right, he's game. He's a game dude, you know what I mean? And it shows for a reason. He's been here since the WEC days. He's been top 5 for however long, decades. And he's a hard dude to finish. Hasn't been knocked out in, 10 years, So I'm happy with my performance, and just excited to just keep it building from there.
Last thing for me, settle the debate. Who had the better one-punch KO tonight? Was it you or Sean O'Malley?
Bro, come on. Dana White, give me that 50K.
You got the 50K.
Hey, thank you, Dana. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cody back here. Jim Greasehaber, cage side seat. Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations, but I want to ask you about a night that the bantamweight division shined maybe like never before. In one night, right? Former champ comes back with an emphatic statement. What are your thoughts on the state of the division right now? Where do you see yourself? And how long do you think before you're ready to take that shot and maybe put that gold back around your waist?
Man, I just watching the bantamweight get so much hype, and not even hype, but just recognition on the night. I'm just excited, man. There's going to be so many potential bouts that I can have, so many potential knockout performance bonuses that I'm going to get in my bank from all these guys. They come out and show up. I'm excited for the bantamweight division. It's the best division in the UFC. We have some killers. It's a shark tank. I mean, you got Dominic Cruz in there. You got Uriah Faber still, doing what he wants to do. I mean, you have so many guys that are. It's a shark tank division. You know what I mean? They're talented. They're fast. They're strong, and I'm just excited to get back to the top and get my title back and come one, come all.
How is it different, the feeling you have right now? And I've interviewed you a lot over the years as you were coming up, that hunger that you had. How is it different right now trying to reclaim that spot from when you were trying to claim it to begin with?
Yeah, I knew, having a heart-to-heart with myself for the past few years, I knew I trailblazed a path and become a world champion. 25 years old. I fought everybody they put in front of me, knockout artists, undefeated killers in there, whoever they had me fight, I ran through them. Outclassed Dominic Cruz in one of the best, title fights there was. And, I lost that hunger a little bit. I really lost that hunger, and I wasn't able to really manifest or, have visions or dreams. I was focused on, getting healthy and overcoming my injuries. And that was the hardest part, man. Injuries are such a sucky part of this sport, man. It really is. If I could, just say that, the injuries was a hard thing to overcome. It was harder than getting the world championship, but I battled through those. I kept strong. I did everything I needed to do. My coach, Michael Malott, he's like, bro, all camp, he's like, you're that fucking 23-year-old kid with a chip on his shoulder. Like, you just walk around with the confidence again. I was like, damn, man. And I kind of feel like that again. I'm 28 now. I got a child. And, I got some gray hairs in my beard, but I still feel like that young kid with that's hungry, and that's what you saw tonight. It's just a man with a dream and a fire that burns inside.
On Thursday, you talked to us about how you've worked through some demons, and we could see that because when you first came out, you were like super aggressive, always had to be angry and in your opponent's face, and ever since you've been a father, we've seen a different Cody. What else contributes to that besides the gray hairs and everything else?
I'll have a few gray hairs, but yeah, definitely. It was trying to be something I wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm a savage in there naturally. I'm a savage person. when I can flip the switch. I don't have to get myself pumped up to fight, and that's what I was having to do. I was having to fake the funk. I had to fake the funk in there. You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck, I got to fight. Damn it. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to do that. And I just got back to the love. Just honestly, man, Chris Holdsworth is always, he used to have it blasted all over his vision board and always would, hashtag it, hard work pays off. And that's the simplest, truest statement you can have in this sport, in this life. Hard work will always pay off. So you just have to work, and keep working and continue to work. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you got to pick yourself up and just keep clawing forward. That's what I'm doing right now. Just back to the hard work. Let the coaches, I got it out my own ways. Let the coaches kind of just take ropes and just go with them.
You mentioned post-fight that it's hard to look good against Rafael Assunção, and it is, but you did. Is the takeaway from this camp and from this fight going forward that if you just stay patient, that these results are going to be inevitable if you trust the process? Is that the new Cody?
Oh, yeah, Cody 2.0. You know what I mean? I like talking about myself in third person, but he's here. Cody 2.0 is here to stay. And we're just going to keep evolving and keep growing. And Lord willingly, I'll stay healthy and I'll just, do what he asked me to do in this life and just keep getting these fights and, doing the right things, becoming a better fighter, a better human being. And that's, throughout my whole life. But I'm just so thankful to have the guys that I have in my corner from East Coast to West Coast. And I'm just excited and just super thankful to be here, to be able to speak with you guys. I mean, I never really took it for granted, but when you don't have the post-fight victories or the post-fight celebrations or the media, man, you go home to an empty hotel and you're banged up, you're bruised up, and you pick yourself up and kind of go from there. So it's been since 2016 I was able to sit in front of you guys and really spill out my heart and passion and love for the sport that saved my life and saved so many and helped out me through so many dark times in my life. So I'm fortunate to be here and sit in front of your presence.
And one more for me, I want to talk about the finishing sequence. You talked about how that was part of the game plan. That was very evident because doing that duck like you did, it's actually kind of risky because if he comes up with a knee, that could be the end for you. But you mitigated the risk by setting that up throughout and making him bite on that feint. And once he did, how hard was it to stay patient and not pull the trigger on that haymaker until you saw the opportunity?
Yeah, it was Coach. He was kind of having a little battle with me in there. He's, kept telling me to move, keep moving, don't be brawling. And I kept hearing that, and I was like, oh shoot, I must be not moving. So keep with the feints. Malawa and Chris, all them guys were telling me to keep feinting. And I noticed early on in the first round, as I got my back towards the wall, that's when he kind of tried to press a little bit. And I knew when he would switch to southpaw, just the overhand left was coming. And so I dipped, let him feint to there, and I knew just to throw my head off, and his head was going to veer to my right, and it just landed in flush. Wasn't worried about a knee. He doesn't really kick from southpaw, kicks from orthodox, so I had him pretty timed. You know what I mean? I was just waiting for the fight to present. I was wanting to do a little bit more stuff, but I'm happy with the victory, and he's a hard dude to look good against. I didn't get hit in there. I felt great. I felt like I did the game plan, stuck to it, and just happy with the result. Thank you.
Cody, congrats on the win. Great job tonight. When you look at the division, who do you see as your main challenge? Who is the guy in the division you look to and say he is the guy?
It's the old Cody. That's it. It's me versus me always. If the old Cody comes back, fuck, he's a scary dude. You know what I mean? Cody 2.0 is here, and I just got to keep bettering myself inside my profession, outside my profession, doing the right things in life, making the right decisions, and everything else falls into place. So I don't fear any man. I fear myself.
And when you look at it, if you're able to get the title back at some point this year, early next year,
win I do.
You got the specter of the guy you lost to, TJ Dillashaw, coming back next year. Would that be a fight that you would want just because of what happened, the history between you, the fact you lost, not the personal history, but the two fights that you had? Would that mean something to you to be able to beat him in a third fight?
We're talking about TJ, who's still suspended. He's not even there, but that's a fight I would like to get back. You know what I mean? We all knew what he was on. We all knew what he was doing. It took so many times, for him to skate by USADA, unfortunately. But, he's serving his sentence. he's going to always have to live with that the rest of his life. You know, he has a child that he has, you know, eyes on him that knows that his dad was a cheater. You know, the whole world looked up to him, a lot of young kids. It's sad. I kind of feel bad for the guy. He has no confidence that he has to use those kind of aids to be a fighter. But we'll see. You know what I mean? I'm going to be at the World Championship. I'm going to be at the top. So if he works his way back up there, open doors. Let's get it.
And last one for me, do you see any of yourself in O'Malley, a cocky guy that, you know, he had the big knockout tonight and he seems to be on the fast track. When you look back to when you were that age, do you see any parallels there?
No parallels. I was 25 years world champion. He's 25. I was 11-0 world champion. He has not fought anybody in the top 15. How many people did I fight in the top 15? Under 2 years in the UFC, I became a world champion. That's a fast track. I was fighting the best, am the best, will be the best. No comparison. But I will say I like his style. I like his little flashy hair. You know, it's cool for the division. So keep doing his thing. Keep getting those wins. We'll see you at the top, buddy.
Cody, you said you and everybody knew that Dillashaw was on EPO. Do you mean that knowing beforehand or just after the fact?
You know, I don't really want to get into that. Yeah, it's kind of ship has sailed. You know, I feel like that was a big burden. A lot of us, you know, like the kid grew up in Team Alpha Male Tutledge, you know, so it is what it is, you know, that's behind us. He's serving his sentence, you know what I mean, for his wrongdoings, knowing that he was doing it. Karma always comes to those who is doing bad things. So he got his karma, he's serving his sentence, and I'm here. I'm in the winner's circle. I have a big knockout. That's what we're going to talk about.
Do you think the EPO is a problem in the division? And
man, I just wish USADA would, you know, be more testful. You know what I mean? Urine samples, we do urine samples, but are you doing blood? I haven't got a knock on my door for blood forever. You know what I mean? How do you detect EPO? You know, let's do more invasive. If we're going to go all in on this and we want to be a leading standard and, you know, natural athletes, you know, drug-free athletes, we're going to preach that. Let's do that. Let's have those come. I don't mind. Wake me up at 7 a.m., stick a needle in my arm, make me piss. Doesn't matter. If it makes it clean, I'll do it. But I don't know when the last time I had a phlebotomist come and jab a needle in my arm for USADA to test us. How easy is it to get over a drug test? I don't know. I don't need to cheat. Never will have to cheat. But if you're going to eliminate it, make it more strict, more invasive.
Cody, you mentioned that you fell out of love with the sport. Can you take me to the moment when you found the spark again?
It was leaving the comforts of my home, being in New Jersey, missing my son, leaving all my friends behind, gaining new friends. I'm so thankful for Coach Henry, Frankie Edgar, Eddie Alvarez, Ricardo Almeida, for them guys to let me go there, get out of my comfort zone, to see if I really love this sport, if I could be away from my son, if I could be away from the comforts of my home, the comforts of my bed, to get myself out of bed when I'm beat down, sore, tired, and just to the grind. Then I knew that I still have the passion and the hunger to do this in the sport, for allowing me to come back and forth, both teams, you know what I mean, to get work with both guys, East Coast to West Coast. That's really when I found the spark back. That's when I really knew that I had love for this sport, to go 3,000 miles away from my son, missing his, you know, sacrificing a lot. I know we sacrifice a lot in this sport, you know what I mean? I'm not up here to say a lot of people sacrifice a lot in life, but for me to sacrifice and know that that's what I needed to do to get the love back for it, to know that I really loved it, you know, to be away from my son. I was away from 2 months, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a father growing up, so I didn't want to miss out on anything. It was the hardest time of my life to do that, but, you know, it was great to be able to, you know, go work with Coach Henry, Coach Ricardo, come back, work with Malott, work with Holdsworth and the guys. So I'm just thankful, man. I'm just thankful that my passion is reignited, and that's when the spark flew, knowing that getting yourself up at 6 a.m. to go drive over to Coach Mark Henry's house and do 10 rounds of pad work, and then go to Ricardo's after a long week of, you know, training with new guys that are trying to kill you, and then you go back home and there's new guys that are still trying to kill you back home. So it's awesome, man. I'm just so happy that the passion's burning again.
All right, Cody Garbrandt, after his big win over Rafael Assunção. For those who are wondering what is going on, this is our post-fight live coverage on MMAfighting.com. Mike Heck here, Jose Youngs is also in Las Vegas joining us. Dana White, UFC president, is about to take the stage, and Conor McGregor went on Twitter a little while ago, and I don't want to take any shine away from the big winners tonight in this great event overall, but it seems as if Conor McGregor has retired. He went on Twitter and announced his retirement and said, quote, "Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting. Thank you for all the amazing memories. What a ride it's been." Okay. And Dana White, I'm sure, is going to talk about it right now. So here he is.
All right. We are transports tonight were Clark and Formiga. Bonuses tonight were all performance. No fight of the night. We got O'Malley, Sterling, Garbrandt, and Perez. They all won $50,000. Congratulations. And who's first?
Dana. Amanda Nunes obviously had a pretty thorough performance tonight. Curious just kind of what you thought about Amanda's performance and what you do with her next when she's just seemingly on this higher tier than anybody right now.
Yeah, no, this card was awesome. And it was a good night. How do you guys like watching fights in the Apex? Great, right? It's actually fun and looks great on TV. Really happy with it. And Amanda Nunes, I told you guys many times, is the GOAT. Tonight she put on a clean. You saw everything tonight. You saw power punches. She set the tempo, set the pace of the fight, did what she wanted when she wanted to do it. Kicks to the legs, kicks to the body, kicks to the head. Takedowns, takedown defense, elbows. I mean, just everything that you could see in an MMA fight, she put out there tonight. It was a bad night to be in a tent, huh? Yeah, she looked good. And then when you think about opponents, we think back to Anderson Silva, John Jones, and many others that, you know, we were sitting here having the same conversation. Who's next? There's always somebody next.
Great night for the bantamweights, of course. You said going in you were looking at Sandhagen and Aljamain as a number one contender fight. Obviously, Aljamain looked impressive. Is he getting his title shot now?
That Matt Serra Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yeah. Well, you guys know what the next fight is, but yeah, he'll get the shot after that.
Nice. Is there any thought at all? I mean, although Jan keeping it together, some people are saying maybe that was so impressive you might break that fight up.
I think that fight's done.
Nice. Report this morning that Fight Island is Abu Dhabi. Are you able to confirm? I know you've been keeping that under wraps, but are you able to confirm if it is Abu Dhabi?
I will announce next week, and I will show you pictures, and I will give you a lot more information.
Fantastic. Couple of quick ones. Conor McGregor took to social media just a little bit ago and said he's retiring. Curious if he spoke to you, if you guys knew something like this was in the works. He says he's done.
So I'll remind everybody that we're in a pandemic. The world is a crazy place right now with all these things that are going on. And, you know, I think that everybody feels this right now. There's no fans, can't travel the fights around. You know, I think everybody is pissed off, confused. You know, been locked up in their houses for 3.5 months. People are wearing masks. People are, you know, there's protests, there's riots. The list goes on and on. And I don't know. I don't listen. If you don't think that what I'm doing right now is probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if you don't think that 3 times a day I throw my fucking hands up and I'm ready to say, you know what? Fuck this shit. Believe me. And the amount of people that I have gunning at me right now is insane. It's insane. But here we are. This is our, what, 5th fight? We pulled off our 5th fight. No other sports are going right now but us. And one of the beautiful things about this sport is you don't have to fight. This isn't the NBA or the NFL where you better be at practice, you better show up and do this, you better do that. You don't have to do anything here. And if these guys want to sit out and retire right now, or anybody feels uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form with what's going on, you don't have to fight. It is all good. So if that's what Conor's feeling right now, John Jones, Jorge Masvidal, you know, I feel you. It's not like I'm going, holy shit, this is crazy. This is nuts. Nothing is crazy and nuts right now because everything is crazy and nuts right now. So on a certain level, I totally understand it and get it.
Masvidal, he spoke to ESPN earlier tonight. He said he laid out a statistic that fighters get paid 18% of the revenue generated by the UFC. Are you able to address that, whether that's accurate and whether that's a number that could change, that he's saying fighters should get more of the revenue that's generated?
Being the financial wizard that he is, I'm assuming his numbers are correct. Here's the thing about Masvidal. We just signed a new deal with Masvidal. Masvidal just signed a new 8-fight deal. He's got 7 fights left on his deal, you know? And my people were working with him and trying to get a deal done with him when he already has a deal. John Jones has like 7 fights left on his deal. He just signed a new deal less than a year ago. So guys, you can say whatever you want about it. I have a deal. We just did a deal with both guys. This isn't one of those scenarios where like they've got some 3-year-old deal and it's like, oh man, that was 3 years ago. I'm in a much different place than this was months ago.
Dana, Jim Greasehopper, cage side seat. Just a question about leading from the front. You know, I was talking to Dave Lockett earlier about you guys are leading from the front in the sports world. You're the first to do it. You're the only ones doing it. You're taking a lot of shots doing it, but you're succeeding in so many ways. Can you talk about that mentality to lead from the front? You're vulnerable, people taking shots at you, but you're also leading that charge and giving people what they need in a lot of ways right now in a tough world that we live in.
Well, thank you, sir. I don't know if that was a question or a compliment, but I appreciate it.
Want your statement on that, what it feels like to be leading from the front. You know, the bullets are coming at you, but you're also leading the way.
It's a catch-22. It feels great, and it's a fucking nightmare at the same time. Let's put it that way. So I'll tell you, I said it 2 minutes ago. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And I was here when we bought this thing, and this thing was dead, and we had to literally get people interested in it. So to tell you that this is the hardest thing I've ever done, that's a hell of a statement.
And you still get up every morning with that same piss and vinegar that you've always had from day one?
I do, yeah. I don't know how much of this shit I got left in me, man, but I'm still doing it, yeah.
Hey, Dana, is it time to do Valentina versus Amanda again?
For the 3rd time?
No.
Amanda won twice?
No interest in that at all?
No, I don't think that's the right fight for Valentina. First of all, and if you look at Amanda, she's the queen of 2 divisions right now, 35, right, and 45. And I think what you'd see before that is a couple more wins from Weili, and that fight happening before you would see the Amanda fight again.
I don't know if you saw Dan Le Batard declined your offer of $250,000, said that's too low. And he's going to come at you with a counter on his.
Let me tell you what, the last thing anybody wants to see is 2 50-year-old idiots fighting, okay? One thing that we've all learned from the fight business is nothing good comes out of 50-year-olds fighting. Except there's a shitload of people that love to see me get knocked out. And there's even more people that would love to see Dan Le Batard get knocked out. So this isn't a negotiation. I put up 250. What's he putting up? We're negotiating. You said you want to fight me for charity. I said, okay, I'll put up $250,000. We'll do it. You're lowballing me like all your fighters, and there will be a negotiation. No, idiot. There won't be any negotiation. You want to fight? Let's fight. We'll do it.
Did you see Jorge Masvidal offered to train him?
Yeah, I did. He's out of work, so makes sense.
Just going back to the Conor thing, you said that you're not surprised anything can happen right now. But did you hear from him personally about that, or was that?
No, that one of my people grabbed me and showed it to me on social media. But that's Conor. You know how Conor works. That's how he does things. But listen, Conor. There's been a handful of people that have made this thing really fun for me, and Conor's one of those guys. You know, and I said the other day to somebody. You know, when you look at the star power that Conor McGregor, the star that he became, he introduced this thing globally to people in places that had never seen it before or been interested in it. And, every star that we've ever had has contributed a piece to building the sport and building this brand. Conor's been fun. It's been awesome. And he's got, I heard some information today, which is funny that it was today. It's because of this deal that I'm working on. But Proper 12 whiskey has sold an obscene amount of liquor, and I don't know what his financial situation is with that thing, but I would imagine he owns a good piece of it. Conor McGregor's not going to need any money anytime soon. He loves the fight. He's passionate about it, and he's got an incredible fighter IQ. But whatever his reason is, when a guy said, my feelings on retirement. When you say you want to retire, don't worry about it. You do your thing, man. And it's all good.
Thanks, Dana.
Dana, I want to congratulate you on a fantastic event, my first one in person.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you as well. And let's start with Amanda. I know you've spoken about it a little bit already, but the question is, who is next for her? Obviously, motherhood is going to come first, possibly, before she fights again. But now she's actually fought and made history. You said it's not going to be Shevchenko. That doesn't make sense again. Are there any names that spring to mind or that she's even mentioned?
Not off the top of my head. You know how I am. There's so much stuff going on right now. That's the last thing that I'm thinking about. And she looks so good tonight. I'm just focused on that performance and her fight. But she's at number 8 right now, right? 3 more and she ties Anderson Silva. A few more after that and she ties John Jones. So it's going to depend on how high she wants to set this bar and how much longer she wants to keep fighting. Because she, too, has made enough money where she can retire if she wanted to.
And Felicia Spencer tonight, I mean, she showed incredible toughness. I think we'll all agree with that. And the commentators, as per a couple of weeks ago, were talking about, should someone have thrown in the towel? Should the ref at any point have stopped it? Were you worried for her at any point, or you're just sort of praising the toughness of Felicia?
Yeah, no, listen, that woman is one of the toughest human beings that I have ever seen in my life. I actually was praying somebody was going to stop that fight before the start of the 5th round. And she's tough. She's tough, and you can't take anything away from her going 5 rounds with the best to ever do it.
And the bantamweights are on fire tonight. Obviously, Aljamain, Cody, Garbrandt, and then Sugar Sean O'Malley as well. You've said this is a kid we should look out for. What do you got to say about his performance?
Garbrandt's knockout was incredible. The timing, the speed, the time left on the clock. Everything about that made that one of the best knockouts I've ever seen in my career. And Sugar Sean O'Malley fought a real guy tonight, a real veteran of the sport, a guy that was a really big test for him, and he passed that test with flying colors. So I'm excited for what's next for him too.
So Aljamain will fight the winner of Aldo and Yan. That's obviously
correct.
Going to be in a month or so's time.
Yeah, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
So,
Fight Island, though.
So how much longer before?
So July.
July. So
those guys will fight in July.
He gets his shot, because obviously they then need to rest off Aljamain.
Oh, I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to ask you about the welterweight division as well. I know you've addressed Masvidal and wanting more money on that kind of stuff, but I want to focus on the title fight, Usman. You said it could be Burns, but we had Leon Edwards on our show at BT Sport tonight saying that he's been in some talks that he could in fact get that next title shot. So who's the front runner?
We'll see what happens.
Ooh, not giving anything away.
Nope.
But what are the divisions that excite you the most right now? Because obviously we've talked about bantamweights tonight, the welterweight division. There's a lot of moving parts as well. They seem to be the front runners.
Of
the
what?
Division that excites you the most right now, where they seem to have the most?
Oh God, I mean all these divisions right now. The 170-pound division tonight. We're talking about hopefully getting this thing done this summer for Stipe and Cormier 3, which is a fight that I'm excited to see. A lot of fun stuff. And I'm excited to see Whaley fight again.
Thanks, Dana. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana. Just to go into, O'Malley tonight even said he wanted more money and he was not happy. And so when you're looking at, Conor and Jones and Masvidal and all this, not one individual, but just collectively, does that do anything to the brand when you have all these people and all these notable names making those kind of comments?
Yeah, we've been here many times before. This isn't the first rodeo.
With one guy, not
no, that's not true.
One time, right?
Not true. We've been here before. This has happened to us before, more than once too.
Why do you think it's popping up at this time? Like, what is causing it right now?
How the hell do I know?
Well, I mean, you're talking to the guy, so I assume you would.
I'm not talking to him. I have no idea why this is going on.
And then
So you want me to tell you why this is going on right now?
Well,
I love you. You know I love you, but that is a really stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid.
Such a stupid question.
You know what you're talking.
We're in a fucking pandemic, and the world is going crazy right now. And all these guys are like, "Well, I want more money too. I want more money." But let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to predict the future here. Most of the media in this country is going to get laid off in the next several months, and that's going to be a big. And everybody wants more money, and nobody wants to get laid off. And all these crazy things are going on in this world right now. Nothing is normal right now. Everything is crazy. And I am the only guy that is pulling off sporting events right now.
Right.
I
get that, but
but you're asking me a question I don't fucking know. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next fucking month with my business. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Right. I'm doing what I can do to keep the bus on the fucking highway here, or the train on the tracks, or whatever you want to call it. I don't give a fuck. If people don't want to fight, you don't have to fight. If you're afraid of COVID-19, stay home. If you're fucking, whatever your deal is, you don't have to do it. I couldn't explain to you anything that's going on planet Earth right now. And neither can anybody else.
Did you, this thing from Conor seemingly out of, he's retired before, but had you seen this coming? Like, had you had any conversation with him that would indicate he might be planning to do something like this?
He's been wanting to fight. He's frustrated because he wants to fight. I'm sure that is a piece of it.
And the no fans, you can't have him fight? Is that essentially?
No. It's not that we can't have him fight, but who do you want to fight right now?
Okay.
Fight Ferguson? I mean, you want to fight, he had called out Masvidal. Okay. Who do you fight right now? And where do we fight Conor McGregor right now? Fight Island isn't even up and running until July. Mm-hmm. So if you look at all the problems to run a business like this, multiply it by a fucking million. Right. And that's where we are right now. And then and there's a lot of other shit that goes on behind the scenes right now that, it's a wacky time to be the first guy putting on live sports when a lot of fucking people who are nutty as hell didn't want you to.
You put on a show headlined by two women during a pandemic, and this wasn't Ronda Rousey versus Liz Carmouche, didn't get that kind of attention. But I understand that you were tracking fairly well on the show, right? So is Amanda become a draw herself, or do you think that it's just the fact that the sport has become, during the pandemic, the attraction?
Tonight was a very big night. The kids that are fighting right now, especially when you're a champion and you're reaping the pay-per-view benefits, are doing very well. This is the only game in town. And when I say that, I mean on the planet. And we're a global business. So, yeah, these kids that they get a piece of the pay-per-view are doing very well.
Mr. White, this is my first time back since the pandemic, so I haven't had a chance to ask you. When everything got crazy, it was, okay, this fight's happening, now it's not happening. Now it's going to happen at Apex. Next thing you know, Nevada says, we're not doing it. So Florida, you had success there. All of a sudden, Nevada had to change of tune. What exactly happened there to allow them to bring you all back?
Well, I wouldn't say that they changed their tune. Things started opening up again, I mean, you can drive down the street and go to the casino right now, play cards, go to a bar, go to a restaurant. It all started to open up again. But again, it was all part of being first. We were first. So there was a lot of pressure on us being first to pull everything off the right way, because nobody knew what the right way was. So I'm telling you guys, if I could tell you guys, you wouldn't fucking believe it. You wouldn't believe it. But we're doing it. It's going. It's moving. We're working. We're doing it.
One of the biggest, I guess, positive takeaways that we can get from this whole pandemic is that in every industry, and especially like you said, we're blazing a new trail. We're learning that we can do things that we didn't know that we could do them that way, and it's going to change how we do business in the future, I think. When you brought us here to the Apex the first time, you talked about putting on a lot of fights here, and this pandemic kind of forced that hand in a way.
Yeah, this isn't what I had planned, but yeah, it worked out. It definitely worked out.
So yeah,
and one of the questions that you're asking about these other sports, it's 100% safe for these other sports to go right now, but they can't go. They can't go because I don't sit up here and cry about the financial side of this. That's not your problem. It's not the fighter's problem. All these other sports are trying to negotiate deals with their athletes right now to take less money, right? Because what happens is you're going into these, let's say this isn't true, but I'm just saying, I'm using an example. The Denver Broncos, okay? The Denver Broncos are like, wait a minute, we're going to put on an event that's going to go on TV, but we lose our live gate, our attendance, right? We lose concessions and we lose parking. It's a massive number to these teams, right? It's like college football. You're going to put on a college football game where some of these teams sell 125,000 tickets to a game. Some do 80, 90,000 tickets to a game. That's why they're not starting. That's why they're not going, because the financial burden is tough. I haven't taken a dollar from one employee or one athlete. I haven't asked anybody to renegotiate their contracts. So,
Well, and just one thing I'll say, and I'm not just saying this because you're in front of me. It's genuine. The general public doesn't really get to see behind the scenes, and I will tell you, I'm very impressed with the standards you guys have in place. I see all the hard work that you and your staff have done, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I know you've been pretty frustrated, and you vocalized that a few days ago about some of the people who are, the detractors and the naysayers. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
You've taken a tremendous amount of backlash just to try to run your business since trying to get back into this. But you mentioned that you have so many people gunning for you. Could you elaborate on that? Is it politicians, regulatory bodies? What?
Name it. Name it. All the nuts are out. They're all fucking coming after us, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Name it, and they've come.
What would you say is the number one, besides the pandemic in general, the number one thing that's been the toughest hurdle for you?
Being first. You know why none of those other leagues could be first? Because they couldn't handle the bullets. The PGA was going to go, I think that weekend when everything shut down, and they got annihilated. They couldn't take the pressure that they were getting. And then once that all starts to go, it just starts to pile up, and you just have the nuttiest of the nuts coming after you. And it takes a certain type of person to stay in there and keep going. And we're like I said earlier, we're 5 fights in, and it's still crazy, man. Still crazy. And a lot of people did not want this to happen. A lot of people did not want this to happen.
Why do you think that is?
It's like, that's what, like Kevin trying to ask me, why is this going on? Why are these people doing this? I can't tell you why. I think that's part of the thing too right now. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are angry and scared, and whatever their thing is. There's a lot of that going on right now. And believe me, I hate to be Mr. Negative, but I don't even think I don't think the worst is still yet to come. The worst is still yet to come. You're going to see a lot more people in this country getting laid off. If you just look at the financial situation, being off for 3.5 months, right? And you look at the stock market, and you're like, how the fuck does that make sense, right? There's going to be a huge domino effect. It's going to start with layoffs, bankruptcies, and it's going to hit the real estate, and God knows what else. And this COVID shit, who the hell knows what's going to go on with that thing? And so these are, you see these commercials. These are very uncertain times. Yeah, you think? Who knows, man? I'm just fucking digging in. I haven't laid off any of my people. I'm trying to take care of all my people, including the fighters, keep them working. And, I'm doing everything in my power to do what I can do. And anybody that, listen, you guys have known me for a long time. Anybody that doesn't want to roll with me, get the fuck off the bus. Get out of here. See you later. Do whatever you want to do. Nobody is making anybody do anything.
When you have these fighters lining up saying, we need more money, we're not getting paid enough, and yet you're trying to get the next show on and the next show, where in the priority are they when you're just trying to keep the doors open?
Well, the priorities are the guys who want to fight. They're the priorities. So the guys who want to fight, we'll keep them fighting, and these guys can make a... There are more eyeballs on these kids right now than ever in the history of the business, ever. We are at an all-time peaking high right now with numbers, with people watching right now. And you guys have to feel it with the traffic. I mean, we do this show at Laura Sanko, right? In the back, she's live. And it was the last one, I think. She pulled 7 million viewers. Fucking thing we're doing on the back on social media. She's pulling 7 million viewers on that thing. Everything we're doing right now is at an all-time high. And so these kids that want to fight, I'll make them money and I'll keep them busy.
You were very complimentary when you went to Jacksonville, and now I don't know if you've kept up with. It seems like a lot of these leagues will be going there.
They should.
Have they reached out? Because obviously they have to do exactly what you've done in terms of bringing in the players, the coaches, the media. They have to test them. So they're going to try to copy you in July. Have they reached out?
Yeah, we had several leagues reach out to us, and we shared we had tons of businesses and everybody, because we had a plan not only for the athletes and the sport and the media and everybody else, but we had a plan for, opening the offices too. So we've shared that with anybody that's wanted to look at it.
What was the key about Florida? Because again, they looked at California, Nevada. What was it? Were they just helpful? Were they?
They were willing to work with us and make it happen. The way that you make something safe is you have your local government work with you and figure out solutions to the problems. Hiding in your house is not a solution for 4 or 5 months, and I get the whole flatten the curve. I stayed home. I did I did it too. How long are you going to stay home? How far are you going to let your business just collapse and your employees get laid off and make no money? None of that makes sense to me. I knew I could do this, so I did it.
You said it's 100% safe. Again, when you had the first fight, you had one fighter test positive, and I think there was some concern. Since then,
nothing is 100% safe. My car ride home tonight's going to be very dangerous. You know what I mean? Nothing is 100% safe. But we've done everything we can do it within our power to try to control this thing as much as it's humanly possible.
In the back, Dana.
Hi.
Hi there. So tonight, Devin Clark took a knee before his fight with Menifield, whose father was killed by the LAPD. And then earlier this week, we had the NFL issue a statement about the protest. And it kind of ties back together because that's where the kneeling started. What was your feeling watching the other leagues respond to the protests around the country and the world, and in light of some of your fighters speaking up, is the UFC prepared to make a statement, or have you talked about it at all?
About what? I don't understand the question. I don't understand what you're asking me.
Yeah, so the NFL has made
I haven't seen anything that they've done. I haven't watched any of the other leagues. I don't look at what everybody else is doing. I do what we do. And our guys were Israel Adesanya was very involved in his country. John Jones was out there doing his thing. Other African-American fighters for the UFC called me and asked me for advice, and I gave them the best advice that I could give them. But I would, as far as, I don't know if you're asking me about social media and stuff like that, but I said the other day, I would never tell, like I said, everybody is dealing with all this madness that's going on in the world right now in different ways. And everybody's going to handle it differently. And I would never try to tell somebody how to express themselves, whether it's fear, anger, whatever it might be. And the beautiful thing about America is everybody can and however they want to. So I would never do that.
No, my question wasn't if you were watching what the athletes were saying. My question is, was the UFC, were you all considering making a statement as an organization?
About what?
About the protests or about the reason why the athletes were kneeling in other organizations?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
So it's a no.
Okay.
Okay, it's a no. And then finally, you said no one wants to see two 50-year-olds fighting.
Yeah.
But I see Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield looking like they want to scrap. Who you got in that fight?
I don't know. What I would like to do is take them both out to dinner and say, hey, let's not fight. Mike Tyson I talked to, and Tyson told me, I can't explain it to you. I'm a fighter, and I always will be till the day I die, and I feel it in my gut, and I want to do it. And he's a grown man, and he can do whatever he wants. So I said, Mike, I love you, buddy, and yeah, I support you. I'll be good luck, and I'll watch it. And Tyson's still explosive. He's still fast, and we all know who Evander Holyfield is. I mean, that guy is a stone cold warrior to the core. So. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that fight. And they're actually not 50. They're older than me. They're like 7 or 8 years older than me. So, yeah, I wish them both luck. No? All right, you guys. Good night.
Well, a very fired up UFC president Dana White, who had a lot to say, not just about UFC 250 and that great card and some of the great performances, but he addressed Jorge Masvidal. He addressed Conor McGregor announcing his retirement. So if you jumped on at the tail end of this thing, I highly recommend you go back and watch this a little bit later, because we've seen Dana White get very emotional at different times throughout his tenure as the UFC president. But man, he was on fire tonight. That was quite the press conference from the UFC president. As Jose Youngs is back with us here from Las Vegas. No, he's not. I don't know if he's here or not. If he's hanging out. Jose is is waving his hands.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, buddy. Okay.
It's been a day.
Yeah, it has been a day. So we're going to talk a lot about what Dana talked about, Conor McGregor and all that stuff. But one of the things I did want to talk about, performance bonuses, Sean O'Malley, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt, Alex Perez. No fight of the night, all performance bonuses. Did they get this one right?
Yeah, 100%. There was no back and forth war like we saw in the last fight with I can't even remember. Last week feels like a month ago. You know what I'm talking about. Right. There's no like epic back and forth war. This card was really a card of finishes. I mean, from the beginning, like Perez with the low kicks, to the Herbert Burns fight, the Menafield, the Devin Clark Menafield fight was a decision. It wasn't like one of those epic wars that we're going to be talking about forever. So. Yeah, I think they got it right. The 4 bonuses. As soon as Sean O'Malley got that KO, we were talking about like, oh, that's a lockup for performance of the night. And then all of a sudden, Cody Garbrandt got arguably the knockout of the year, one of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, I think they hit it 10 out of 10 across the board on it. But I think he made it up for last week when he was quote bummed out that he got the fight of the night wrong. I think Dana White was past the flying colors on performance bonuses today.
I actually thought he might have given it to Stamen and Kelleher if he was going to do a fight of the night, just because of, it was a great fight and everything that went into it. But I'm okay with the 4 performance bonuses, but I do think the UFC got this wrong for the second week in a row. And here's why, Jose. For the first time in UFC history, a performance bonus should have gone to a coach. It should have gone to a cornerman. In my opinion, Jose Youngs, Devin Clark's father should have got an extra $50,000 because that guy got me jacked up watching that fight. I spent the second half of that fight on my feet pacing around. That guy is a motivator if there ever was one. And here's my message to Mr. Clark if you're watching right now. Sir, if you happen to put out any sort of motivational content, videos on YouTube, a podcast, social media posts, an audiobook, I don't care what it is, take my money. Just take it. And he should get the UFC's money too. Sensational corner work. Give a 5th bonus. I'm fine with that, Jose.
Well, yeah, I guess coaches deserve their shine too. There was a lot of people talking about corners throwing in towels, and like Mark Henry was absolutely phenomenal with Cody Garbrandt, and ATT of course had another perfect game in the night's main event. But yeah, all right, performance bonus goes to Devin Clark's father. I'll take it.
There you go. Yeah, I'll give him like the $5 I have on me right now. But if you're joining us right now, UFC 250 is, of course, in the books. I am Mike Heck. That is Jose Youngs in Las Vegas, bringing you all the post-fight media scrums. We heard from Aljamain Sterling. We heard from Cody Garbrandt. We just heard from a very emotional, very fired-up Dana White. And we will hear shortly from Amanda Nunes after her successful title defense against Felicia Spencer in the main event. If you're looking for the official post-fight show, we will get into that right after this ends, and we'll have a lot to break down and discuss with all of you. But Jose, let's talk fights. Let's talk Amanda Nunes and her performance. There you go. It has been a week after all. Thoughts on Amanda Nunes? It's been about an hour removed since she got her hand raised. It was a dominant performance. Obviously, you take your hats off to Felicia Spencer for going the full 5. A lot of people thought that fight should have been stopped. Thoughts on Amanda Nunes and what she accomplished tonight, making some history.
She made. I said on our preview show, I was like, oh, Felicia Spencer definitely has a shot. And my God, did Amanda Nunes prove me wrong. Amanda Nunes just beat the soul out of a woman. We saw, if they were like, if that was 5-10-8s, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, I also didn't hear the scorecards because Aljamain Sterling jumps right up. How many 10-8s were on that?
I actually don't remember. I heard 50-44. I don't know if there's a 50-43, but there was some 50-44.
It was reminiscent of Rose Paige Van Zandt. It was like just every single fight, like Felicia Spencer's going into at the end of every round, Felicia Spencer's face was bloodier and bloodier. She got the hematoma. Like in the first round, we're all talking like, oh man, like Felicia Spencer could get she shoot for a takedown because that could be her best chance of winning. We talked about it on the preview show. Casey's talked about it a bunch on the A side. I don't remember who Casey picks on record, but like we always said like, oh, this is where she could win. Amanda Nunes doesn't do great with heavier fighters on top of her, and in like the first 2 minutes, Amanda Nunes just hip tosses her to the ground and dives right into Felicia Spencer's guard and is more than happy to go to the ground with who many consider to be the better grappler of the two, and just beats her up. Even like, what was it, going to the finish, she gets that rear naked choke with 10 seconds left trying to finish her. Felicia Spencer, like what do we say on the preview show? Like, she's lost to Cyborg, but she went all 3 rounds and just shows how tough she is. She did that again with Amanda Nunes, but she wasn't in this fight at all. Like on the commentary, people were like, oh, should you throw the towel in? Should you throw the towel in? Dana Corn was like, she's fighting back, but she's not like, there's not that moment like Anthony Smith like pulling his teeth out and like giving him to his coach. There was none of that. It was like she was just like constantly just running into a wood chipper over and over and over and over. And Felicia Spencer refused to quit, just spit down in the mouthpiece and kept going. But man, that was tough to watch by the 4th and 5th round.
I agree. I thought maybe when they called the doctor in the final minute, they might have just mercifully called a stop to it. But Felicia's just like, no, I'm fine, which is just unbelievable. Kudos to her. Hat goes off to her. But Amanda Nunes, just another fantastic performance. I want to shine some light on Aljamain Sterling because we did hear from him already. In a million years, I never thought we would see a dominant performance like that quickly in that fight between Aljamain Sterling and Corey Sandhagen.
No
we thought we were going to see a 15-minute war. Someone was going to come out, maybe a split decision, something like that. But, man, Aljamain Sterling just went in there. And, listen, I've said this on Twitter already. At this point, we're still like a month and change away from that Jan fight happening. And if Jose Aldo is watching this right now, I apologize, but let's just shuffle up the deck, Jose. You're in Vegas. Let's have some fun here. Let's shuffle up the deck and let's just throw Sterling in there. That's the fight. Nothing else makes sense.
And I mean, yeah, but again, Mike, Casey, I don't know if he's on this call, but what is the number one rule in mixed martial arts? Stop making sense. Don't use logic. Throw it out the window. Like Aljamain Sterling, like I didn't think it would be a war. I thought it would be like a really high level technical martial arts display. Like Aljamain Sterling, clearly the better grappler, has good stand up, but is just like cuts through people like butter on the canvas. And then Corey Sandhagen is like, people have been tabbing him as like the next Dominic Cruz since he got into the UFC. And Aljamain Sterling was like, yo, there are levels to this right now. Like, I'm about to backpack this guy and choke him unconscious immediately. I mean, that's the performance Aljamain needed. It's like when it's similar to when Corey Anderson fought Johnny Walker. We all thought like, oh, Corey Anderson needs like a performance of his life in Madison Square Garden, and then he just destroys Johnny Walker, and then we're like, well, this is a title shot right there, and then he doesn't get it, and then he gets knocked out by Jan Blachowicz. So like, it's similar. Like Corey Anderson, Aljamain Sterling have the best performance of their career on the biggest stage, on the biggest fight of their career, and neither of them are going to get the next title shot immediately after. Dana White said himself that Jan Aldo's pretty much a go. So, yeah, I disagree with the booking, but I don't hate the fight. I like Aldo versus Jan as a martial arts fight, but yeah, you're not wrong. Aljamain Sterling has done his part, but what are you going to do now?
And if we're giving another performance bonus to a cornerman, Raging Al Iaquinta with that quarantine hair deserves a couple of shekels as well. I mean, how could you not be fired up to put on a performance when you have Raging Al with that hairdo walking you out to the cage?
Number one real estate agent in the game, coming for everything. Yeah, you're not wrong. Aljamain, like the whole like new, like all of Long Island outside of or the whole New York posse outside of Brian Kelleher did good. Even like Cody Garbrandt did great with Mark Henry's new thing. So yeah, like phenomenal coaching across, like just fantastic coaching across the board during this entire fight card.
Of course, because this has been a week, my light on my little camera light just went out, but it's okay. You can still see me bright here in Command Center 2.0. Cody Garbrandt. This is a guy who we had a lot of questions about. Had the 3 losses, been out for over a year. We heard him at the virtual media day. I thought he was saying the right things. He actually sold me on this fight with Rafael Sunsao even more so. But man, he came out, he looked great, he looked patient, and then delivered a buzzer beater KO. Bantamweight was just on fire tonight. We talked about it a lot. I know Dana White talked about it a lot. Thoughts on Cody Garbrandt, because we always refer back to the Cruz fight. That was his shining moment. That was the arrival, so to speak, of Cody Garbrandt. This guy's the real deal. He's a champion. But to see that after everything he's gone through, man, that was impressive, was it not?
Oh my God, it was, again, like we're talking about, like all of these fighters need to come in, like not just Cody Garbrandt, like Sean O'Malley, Amanda Nunes, Aljamain Sterling, like these guys needed the performance of their career. Like and maybe not Amanda Nunes, because she's already been determined as the greatest female fighter of all time, but we were really like, she needs to just prove a point that, yeah, Felicia Spencer might shine in the grappling, but Amanda Nunes is no slouch on the ground too. So, and she did that. Cody Garbrandt needed to come there and just destroy a Sunsao. And dear God, he I'm sure you guys watched it. Yeah, you guys had to have watched it. Like Sunsao gets up on the stool and just like falls forward. He can't even sit straight without collapsing. So, scary scene there. But yeah, Cody, this is exactly the performance Cody Garbrandt needed.
Jose, I'm going to put you on this. Oh, God.
From the truck, what was scarier? A Sunsao on the chair about to fall off, or the flapping of the mustache from Eddie Wineland?
Question from the truck. I don't know if I don't think you can hear, but he asked what was scarier, Rafael Sunsao getting just deaded, or Eddie Wineland's mustache flapping in the breeze when Sean O'Malley walked away. I would say a Sunsao, because I was so focused on Sean O'Malley in that moment that I saw the mustache flapping on the replay, rather than as soon as Cody Garbrandt just hit that fastball on a Sunsao, I was just like, he's dead. I just watched a grown man die in front of me. So yeah, a Sunsao was scary to me. Plus he was face down. Like, it's just the sight of a human being, like a human floor mat face down, is like, it's a terrifying scene.
So when we're running vignettes or we're running highlight videos for the next number of years, both O'Malley and Garbrandt have the opportunity to be showcased on all of those videos for years to come. Which one gets the top spot between the two of them, in your opinion?
Based on tonight?
Yep. Just on the knockouts tonight, like who did it better? Let's put it that way.
That's tough. I think Cody Garbrandt's is way more violent. O'Malley's was just cool, man. O'Malley's was just like fake the uppercut. He was like fake, then yo-yo pull back and just hit it with those like pop, pop. It was like all just so quick. Garbrandt's was like he had it in like his back pocket, and then he just waited for an opening and just like pulled like it was like pocket sand. He was like sha and just like threw it at a la Dale Gribble, just right at a sunset. So that's tough. I have no idea. Honest to God, can't decide which one. O'Malley's was cooler. Garbrandt was more violent. I'll say that.
Fair enough. One thing I thought about watching Cody Garbrandt fight was this is like watching Justin Gaethje from the bantamweight division, because Gaethje went through a lot. He had a lot to say. He had some fights where he got a little emotional, head down trying to run through guys, and he got finished a couple of times. And now look at him. He's sort of reinvigorated himself. Yeah, he still has that power. Yeah, he's still dangerous. He could do so many different dynamic things while he's in the octagon. But now he's a much more patient guy. He picks his shots. He's a little more selective, and he's more relaxed and comfortable within himself. And I feel like we saw a lot of that with Cody Garbrandt. Is that like a fair comparison, you think, or is it a little soon to make that one?
It's a little soon because like we were talking about with Justin Gaethje, he did it like he did those 3 wars in a row where he absorbed more punches, and then he went on that win streak of just first round knockout. And there's that stat you keep hearing where like he absorbed more punches in like the first round against Michael Johnson than he did combined in that entire win streak. Like it took it, like he lost to, and then like Gaethje lost to Poirier and Alvarez back to back, 2 of the greatest fighters of all time, 2 of the greatest lightweights and former champion in the case of Eddie. Well, both former champions, interim and undisputed champions. So jury's still out on Cody Garbrandt. I want to see a couple more fights before we can really make that comparison.
What could we possibly do with Amanda Nunes now, Jose?
I don't know. I know Irene Aldana is out there. I know Casey's a big fan, is high on her from the Invicta days. She, like, if we're talking about violent knockouts, her last KO over Ketlin Vieira is, like, there's a lot of knockouts in women's MMA, but it's like a culmination of like pop, like it's like Joanna's like a wood, it's like a buzzsaw, it's like pop, 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 or Andrade's like dropping Rose on her head. But like in terms of just like just one punch, person's just dead. Irene Aldana, that is one of the best female knockouts you will ever see in your life. So I know she's there at 135, but if Amanda does drop down to 135, I think that's the next fight for her. But if she wants to stay at 145, Megan Anderson wins her next fight, that's a no-brainer. So Megan Anderson if she wins, or Irene Aldana, or I want to see the Valentina fight, but like Dana White said, Valentina's closer to a fight with Wiley than a third fight with Amanda Nunes. I'm like, honestly, I'd watch Wiley and Valentina, so I wouldn't complain about that either. It's just she's running out of competition. She's running into the Anderson Silva, John Jones, George St. Pierre era, and it's just the fact that she's doing it in 2 different weight classes that's so impressive.
So scary. There's nothing more terrifying than watching Amanda Nunes land a big shot and causing her opponent to bleed her own blood, and then just seeing her smile afterwards. Like it's just terrifying to watch.
She's a horrifying individual. She just always has to be one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So I don't know how to feel when I watch Amanda Nunes fight.
It's just unbelievable. She will be heading up to the stage momentarily. Maybe she'll have some insight on what's next. And
I don't quite see her yet.
She's not here yet, but we just still a lot going on right now. I don't know if
guys.
There you go. There's the announcement.
I have a question.
We're waiting on Amanda Nunes.
Oh, is she coming?
No, she's
nope.
not here yet.
I just saw your little flash on the screen. Yes, your question, Mr. Truck.
I think everyone can hear me now. What is next for Marlon Moraes, though?
Oh, this is too easy.
Dominic Cruz.
Thank you.
Why? He was scheduled to fight Peter Yan, and because of travel restrictions, that fight is off. But now we don't.
Here's why.
There we
because
go.
Marlon Moraes wants it.
He doesn't want to fight.
That's right.
He doesn't want to fight anyone other than Cruz.
No, Yan. He already tweeted. Yan's getting Aldo. I want to fight Cruz next. He said, "Forget the rankings. I want Cruz." Marlon Moraes is the number 1 guy. He gets to pick who he fights. If Marlon Moraes wants to fight Dominic Cruz, there's our answer. His exact words were, "Forget the rankings." Am I wrong? I'm not. I'm right. Right? Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's the fight I want to see from like years ago when I used to write 5 fights we need to see in 2018. Marias and Cruz has been up there forever. That fight has to happen. And that's a huge fight. A win over Dominic Cruz, massive. I mean, that jumps you up. I mean, just looking at who's available right now. I mean, do you do Garbrandt? But I don't even know if they'd fight each other right now. Because, I mean, I know Marias is down in Florida now, but he still has affiliations with Mark Henry and all those guys. Because he trained with them before. He's close with Frankie. So I don't know if there'd be some sort of a rift there.
I mean, let's not forget Dominic Cruz could fight Frankie Edgar too, and I'm like, give me all of that.
Oh.
Just give me all of that fight. Like, Frankie still has to fight. John Dodson's even coming off a big win. Sean O'Malley's out there.
Cody Stamon's out there.
Uriah Faber's floating around out there. So yeah, there's Rob Font. We haven't even talked about Rob Font. He's coming off big wins. So like anyone at 135.
Got
Song Yadong, like Marlon Vera, like Cheeto Vera, he's coming off a loss, but like a lot of people thought he won. It's kind of that the Angela Hill scenario where he lost, but did he actually lose? So yeah, there's a lot of fights at 135.
Is men's bantamweight the most exciting division right now? You know, it kind of fluctuates. You know, like maybe a couple years ago it was all about featherweight, but I feel like men's bantamweight right now, especially if Cejudo out of the picture now, it's just kind of wide open.
I agree. It's the best. It is the like if they decided they were gonna like Jan gets there's like 5 fighters that if they got the shot over another person behind them, I'd be like, I'd still want to watch that fight. It's not that it's not a bad, like anyone in the top 10 versus anyone in the top 10 is unbelievable at this point.
I would say like right now, like bantamweight is super valuable. Like the price tag, the stock on bantamweight is huge. But if I'm like buying future stock right now, probably buying at 145. Just because there's a lot of guys at 35 that are sort of on the tail end of their careers. Like we got guys like Frankie, we got guys like Cruz. You know, we lost Cejudo. But 45, you got a bunch of young, hungry lions. Same with 35 too. Like we haven't even talked about. I mean, Kelleher tonight, like, yeah, he lost, but he proved he can hang with the top 15 guy, no problem. We got guys like Montel Jackson. I mean, there's just so many good bantamweights right now. So both those divisions are really strong.
And the only fight I need to see is the Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega.
What about Ryan? Maybe Ryan Hall versus Herbert Burns. That could be an option.
I mean, what did you think when you heard that, Casey?
I like the fight, but Ryan Hall, unfortunately for Herbert Burns, Ryan Hall has earned a much higher matchup.
I agree. I mean, I want
to see the fight because it'll be obviously I want to see Ryan Hall in general, just next to me. But
I liked. He also called up Bryce Mitchell. Burns versus Mitchell sounds fun.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Throw it on the island. Bryce Mitchell would probably flourish on Fight Island. And I guess it's in Abu Dhabi now. Dana White would not confirm that, but apparently we're going to see some photos and all sorts of fun stuff in regards to Fight Island. But one guy I did want to give some shine to, Cody Stamen. I mean, good Lord. Everything that guy's gone through, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine not only just like getting up and showering and getting dressed and like just going about your day after losing your little brother, but to train for a fight, to cut weight. I'm sure you didn't have to cut a ton, and then get in there and fight a dangerous guy like Brian Kelleher and perform the way he did, probably his best overall performance in the UFC to this point. There's no words. I mean, just super impressive stuff. And
I mean, did you watch the post-fight press conference with him, Mike, yet?
Yes.
It's sad. He's holding back tears the whole time. And someone was like, "Oh, you have to go back to Michigan?" He goes, "Yeah, like I have to go to a funeral before I could think of a fight." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, like why is this man doing the media right now? Just let him go home." Like I asked him who he wants to fight next, just because like bantamweight is so competitive. I wanted to give him the opportunity to like say he did have someone to just give him a chance. And he was like, I can't even think about fighting right now. And for the first time, I was like, you know what? I'm glad you didn't call someone out, because then people might be rushing you back. So yeah, it's the mental strength of that man it's unbelievable.
The way he reacted once that final horn sounded was something I'll probably never forget. He just everything it was like he bottled it all up, and then it just all left him right there and then. And I know Joe Rogan gets a lot of flack these days because of the commentary and some of the things that come out of his mouth, and some of them are justified, but Joe Rogan did a hell of a job, because I don't know if I could have gotten through that and did an interview with a guy who was very emotional like that. And Joe made it to the end. He was fighting it back, and it's just tough, man. That was a tough interview to do, and good on Stamen for going through and doing the media stuff after that as well.
Yeah, he said he was like, he wanted to be the guy that just like didn't hold anything. He wanted to be, quote, like the hard ass that just goes out there and fights and gets stuff done and then calls it a day. But he did not imagine he would be going through that. And he said what really got to him was like, because he said his words were he didn't respect Brian Kelleher leading into that fight because of some of the comments Kelleher made on Twitter and calling him out and this and that. But as soon as the fight was over, Brian Kelleher hugged him and lifted him up, and Cody said that he just lost it. Like, he just lost it right there, and he gained a lot of respect for Brian Kelleher. So, like, I cannot imagine. Yeah, like, there's no, like, how can you imagine?
Conor McGregor. We might as well talk about this because we don't know when Amanda Nunes is coming, and she could take her sweet ass time if she wants, because she's the double champion and she could do whatever she wants, and who are we to stop her? But Conor McGregor goes out on Twitter and announces his retirement. Dana White responded and such, and then one of the media members asked him, "Why do you think this is happening?" And Dana White blew a gasket, and I loved every second of it, if we're being honest. I got goosebumps after listening to him. But why now? Like, why now? Is this because Conor just wants to get attention? Is he following the Floyd Mayweather playbook here? Or did he just make things really interesting in the relationship between fighters in the UFC?
I have no idea. I stopped trying to predict reasons why Conor McGregor does things a long time ago. Like, when Conor retired, my first response was like, yeah, okay. Like, he's probably going to unretire, then retire next year. Like, been there, done that. Like, I had no reaction to it. Like, even Dana was like, yeah, okay, you're retired. Like, I turned to, like, some media members, like, did Conor retire? And they were like, yeah, maybe, I guess. Like, no one really, we were like, all right, this is just, it's 2020, and we cover mixed martial arts. Like, this is just old hat at this point. So I'm not going to even try to come up with a reason why Conor McGregor, I don't believe he's retired at all. Like, there's no possible way he retires. But I wasn't surprised I wasn't surprised that's what he said.
I don't know what to think. I mean, it's just, I wonder if, like, the Masvidal and the Jones thing, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I wonder if Conor's just like, you know what? I respect what you guys are doing. I'm going to throw my name in the ring too. And then let's really get this thing. Let's really get together and associate, or whatever they're trying to do. Conor's never really been the ultimate team player in that regard, but maybe, just maybe, he just needed a push. And is this it? I don't know.
It's as if all these guys maybe are kind of unionizing.
It would be nice. I don't know if you read the report on the Athletic. 18%. If you read the report on the Athletic, most of the fighters, the majority of fighters agreed that if a fighter is going to lead a union, it would be Conor McGregor. So if someone's going to do it, it should be him.
And Conor's pretty into everything. He reads and watches a lot of different things. So it would not surprise me at all if Conor read that article and was like, this is crazy stuff. And then we got Masvidal going on SportsCenter today and talking numbers and sports and all that stuff. And we're still dealing with the John Jones stuff. It's just it's a wild time right now. Dana White's, I gotta say, even though he sort of blew up tonight, he's holding it together. I thought he might have flipped the table over after all this stuff, especially with the Conor news, but he's trying to keep it together. It's just it can't be easy.
These might, you could say these are unprecedented times.
Yeah, there's like a pandemic or something like that.
Yeah,
I know. Still waiting on Amanda Nunes following her dominant unanimous decision win over Felicia Spencer. She was never in any danger for a single second in that fight, and she just had a blast doing it. Didn't even look like she was in a fight. Felicia Spencer looked like she was in 5 fights, but again, we talked about it before. If you're just joining us, got to take your hat off to Felicia Spencer for going in there. And Jose, we sort of talked about this on the preview show about that Instagram message I got, just about I don't want to throw Felicia in the spot because then it'll stunt her growth and her evolution of the sport, especially if she gets beat down the way I expect her to get beat down, and that's pretty much what happened tonight. So where does Felicia Spencer go from here besides taking a well-needed break?
I don't think it stunted her growth whatsoever. Like, Casey, you train, you've covered fights forever. Like, when do you learn the most in a fight?
After you get your ass kicked.
When you get your ass kicked. Like, if you haven't got your ass kicked once, you're not going to learn.
Like, if I go to sparring and I touch up everyone and I walk out there with no bruises, I'm walking fine, I'm like, I don't know if I got very much out of that. You gotta take a beating to learn something in this sport.
And, like, sometimes, do you remember Dan Hooker's last loss to Edson Barboza? He got just decimated. That was not a close fight. That was hard to watch. Like, that was a fight where it was like Dan Hooker was too tough for his own good, and his body just gave out. Dan Hooker has looked unstoppable since. And you need those type of fights that really, like, light a fire under you. And let's not forget, Felicia Spencer went 5 rounds with the greatest fighter of all time. And, like, yeah, we just talked about, like, oh, she should have thrown in the towel, but, like, 2 minutes in the last round, she's still throwing, like, standing elbows. Like, she's still coming in. She's not just, like, doing this the whole time. Like, she's still trying. If she gets taken down, she's trying.
Yeah, I thought Spencer's. I wasn't upset by the non-stoppage.
Oh, I didn't either. She was losing, but it's not like her brain was scrambled.
Yeah.
She's just getting beat up.
Yeah, I didn't think there was, like, after about 2 rounds, I was like, there was no way Chase Hooper was going to win that fight. But I wasn't going to throw the towel in. I was like, this is a learning experience, Chase. Go out there, have fun.
For sure.
Chase Hooper, just exactly what Chase Hooper tweeted. He's like, you just got to get back in there, and you keep going. Like, these fighters get their first loss, or, like, these losses. Like, let's also not forget, who has Felicia Spencer lost to in her career? Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, right.
Come on. like, it's like, you know, it's not like you lost to the two, like, those two and Ronda Rousey are the greatest fighters of all time. And in terms of, like, skill set, I would say Amanda and Chris are more skilled than Ronda Rousey. But in terms of, like, aura and greatness, I don't think either of us really matched Ronda Rousey's peak, where she was just steamrolling everyone and captivating the entire sports world, not just MMA. But, like, Felicia Spencer has lost to the two hardest hitting females that have ever lived and the two most skilled female martial artists to ever compete in MMA. It's like, yeah, she's 10-2 and her only losses are to greatness. So I think Felicia Spencer will be fine.
Yeah.
But I just wonder who she's going to be able to fight, like, after
I don't know.
this, you know what I mean?
I think that's the actual question. Because I think we have to assume whenever Nunes defends her belt again at 45, it will have to be against Megan Anderson, and if Nunes beats Megan Anderson, I don't see the women's 45 division continuing. Honestly,
I just don't know what else you could do at this point.
Because the UFC doesn't seem to be they don't seem to be looking for new talent at women's 45. So
yeah.
So if we ever talk about a fight to save the division, I think actually Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Unless if Megan doesn't win, I think as much as I love women's MMA and want it to prosper, I actually don't see a path right now for in the UFC at least with Bellator having control of a lot of the female 45ers.
Yeah.
I think
like we always compare promotions like during that welterweight Grand Prix, which we all agree everyone loved, or like the featherweight one going on right now. It's like, which division is better? The UFC, it's always leans to the UFC. That is not the case in the 145-pound women's division. The Bellator has the monopoly on that right there. Even like when they pulled Kat Zingano, she could fight a 135 or 145. Like, having Kat Zingano in the UFC right now to fight Amanda in either weight class would be hugely beneficial. Like the rematch at 135 or Amanda going up, or Zingano going up to challenge for 145. And if she wins, then she could go for the 135-pound belt. Like, they're missing Kat Zingano right now.
So talking about one division that might be in trouble, let's segue into a division that was in trouble a year and a half ago and is now starting to come out and put on exciting fights and exciting performances. Alex Perez Unbelievable. Fight buried on the prelims. My under-the-radar fight of the night. Just taking out Jussier Formiga. We have another leg kick TKO win. Alex Perez has just looked sensational. That was a huge win for him. And sky's the limit for him. He wants to step in and be ready in case Figueiredo or Benavidez can't go once that fight comes together. And I think that's a perfect idea. Get him ready to go, and if not, he gets the winner. I don't think there's any other thing you could put into play here.
I think you put that fight on the same card, and the winner just in case, like, if Figueiredo, because Figueiredo missed weight last time, if both Perez and Moreno should both come in 125, and if one of them say comes at 126, Figueiredo comes in at 126, you just switch opponents right there. Like, it makes too much sense, but again, nothing makes sense, man.
Perez looked great, man.
He looked unbelievable.
What a great win.
Not even like the low calf kick. That's 2 fights cards in a row, and even the Cody Garbrandt fight, he was relying heavily on the low calf kicks before getting that fastball knockout. So yeah, awesome to see. Like, as a fan of leg kicks. Like, whenever I play UFC video games or MMA video games, I always get the chop them down achievement immediately. I love leg kick TKO, so I was a big fan.
In the video game, can you kick the calves, or is everything to the thigh?
It depends on the distance you are of the fighter. Oh. You can't if you're farther away, you can slap the toes, or if you get in real close, you can just wrap your shin around, so you can time it, Casey. Oh, yeah. It's that realistic.
Ooh.
I might have to buy this game. As you can see, we are still waiting the arrival of the UFC Women's Bantamweight and Featherweight Champion, Amanda Nunes. As you see it swirling around here.
Like our special effects got some.
So we're waiting on Amanda.
Did Amanda Nunes just go home? Did she forget?
I think we got spoiled with, like, Aljamain was sitting back here for the entire Nunes fight. Like, he came in right at the end of the Cody fight, and they were like, we're gonna have him sit here. So he's like getting all stiff from like the adrenaline going away. Then he like walks up on stage, he's like Frankenstein. He sits down. Like, as soon as the fight ended, we didn't even hear the interview, the scorecards. We didn't see the belt get wrapped around. Aljamain just went up, which is why I called in kind of late, because like no one was ready for it.
Yeah.
And then Cody, as soon as Aljamain was done, Cody came, and as soon as Cody was done, Dana came. So I just think we had two really fast fights, and Dana just walked out really quickly because the room he's watched the fights in is literally right there on the other side of the tent. So it's like they were just ready to go. And Amanda Nunes actually has to do media for 2 languages, I would imagine.
That's true. And when you have a card like this that was just really good from start to finish, oftentimes there are certain really good performances that aren't discussed, but I'm going to discuss it right now. Ian Heinisch, what a performance against Gerald Mearshart.
Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that fight. Like, it just came out like Ian Heinisch, I think I read he was plus 850 to get a first round stoppage win. And I asked him about that. He laughed. He's like, yeah, because I just stopped trusting my strength. And he also said like he trained at X Factor, but then he left because like it's good, like when you train at altitude, it's really good for your lungs, but then when it's harder for your muscles to recover, as opposed to training in sea level where your muscles can get more oxygen, but then it's not as good during training camp because you don't get that cardio. So he went to Thailand to let his body recover, but he did that, and then the pandemic hit, so then he had to come back to Colorado, and he didn't go back to Factory X because he didn't want it to be awkward. So it was a lot of bouncing around for Ian Heinisch. So we didn't really have like a set place to train for a while. So yeah, with that in mind, his performance is even more impressive.
Yeah, and then everything that happened this week, for God's sake. Holy moly.
Jesus Christ. Him and Neil Magny. It's like the most ridiculous thing.
Small cages. I love that small cage so much.
I love it too.
Man, those guys, and that's actually why I thought Felicia Spencer had such a good shot at the upset. 'Cause I thought the small cage would make a serious difference. But
I thought Eddie Wineland would have a better shot against Sugar Sean too, because he would be able to close that distance really quickly. And this is why I'm not a professional analyst and I'm just a reporter because I'm never going to be right on those kind of things.
Let's do a 22.5-foot cage for Fight Island. How about that? That
I
thing
love
should
it.
really get
Do you
popping.
remember when they fought in Connecticut? They had the small cage and they had Ben Rothwell and Overeem, and they just looked like behemoths in there. I loved every second of that too.
Oh, you know what I want to talk about real
yeah,
quick? Alonzo Minifield's thighs. Oh my God.
Both
of those dudes.
Both of those guys. I was just, those men can squat like cars. I was like,
jeez. Yeah, Clark looked jacked too. Both those guys.
I actually enjoyed it. I know that fight was kind of ugly in a sense, but I actually enjoy those fights because those are just like survival fights. Those like throw technique out. We're just fighting to survive. It kind of had that feel, like they were both gassed.
I was very disappointed we didn't get Devin Clark in the back.
Yeah.
Because he got transported to the hospital right away because pretty sure his orbital bone was destroyed. We didn't even you guys have covered enough fights that they email you quotes. He didn't even do that. He went straight to the hospital. He didn't even get to talk to the UFC.
Yeah, gritty win for him, and they should have just brought Mr. Clark up there to do the post-fight press conference for him. My God, I would have been all in on that. I would have paid money for that. $1.99, absolutely. It could have been like the old WCW hotline, $1.99 a minute. I would have been all in on that.
Christ.
We would have. I would say like the one decision that was sort of questionable and debated was Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that fight back there, Jose. I don't know if there was a scrum going on, but did you watch it? And if so, how did you score that fight?
I missed a lot of that because the Sugar Show was back here. And Sean O'Malley had a very long scrum, so I think I missed the first 2 rounds of that fight. So I hear Magny. Oh, and with that, the champ is here. So I'm going to shut myself off because the greatest female fighter of all time is about to speak.
More people had Martin winning than Magny winning on MMA decisions.
There you go. All right.
And with that being I'm signing off. The belts are going up first.
Here she comes. The UFC Women's Bantamweight and Featherweight Champion of the world, Amanda Nunes. What a performance tonight against Felicia Spencer in the main event of UFC 250. Just dominant from start to finish, winning pretty much every second of that fight, no doubt whatsoever, as the Lioness has taken her seat at the throne. Let's hear from the champ.
Amanda, congratulations. You have made history tonight. Not only do you hold both of those belts, but you've defended both titles as well. Just put into words what that means to you.
I can't. I'm so happy and proud of myself, of my coach, my team. I'm so happy.
Look, your coaches just carried you in and placed you on the chair. What injury or pain are you feeling right now?
The same injuries always. I like to kick a lot. The first couple ones, the first round, she's check and I kick her knee. From that moment, my shin was really ow. But I always be able to kick more through the fights, and right now I didn't even can stand on it.
The adrenaline must have been pumping. You disguised it well. Look, you always not only like to beat people at their own game, but test yourselves, continue to make history. And tonight you said afterwards you wanted to go the 5 rounds, and you did show us, again, you've improved even more. Why was it so important for you to do that and potentially go the distance?
Yeah, I know. I want to do that. I want to go to 5 rounds with the most tough girl. And tonight I prove it. I knew Felicia is the toughest girl in this division, and I know she's gonna handle, exactly what she did tonight. And I just want to prove it. I can go to 6 rounds and not only 5 anymore, and laugh, enjoy being there. So tonight was amazing. Everything that we work on, me and my coach, I was be able to put in there, and that was making me laugh, Not because I was hurting her. It was because I was be able to put it together, everything we training. Every fighter want to do that. I want to train and they want to be able to put in there. And a lot of people can't. And this is frustrating. But tonight, always, and it always is going to be. Because from here to the next, I'm going to grow, I'm going to go through the roof. I'm going to go to the top of the mountain. I'm going to go to the moon. Honestly, I'm going to go to NASA now.
We don't doubt it. And when you talk about that, a lot of people are always asking, well, what's next? And Dana White said, well, he doesn't know what's next for you. And, you know, you're the best person to answer that question. You know, what do you do next?
I didn't even know either. Tonight is a beautiful night. I enjoy, you know, what I did. I cannot name nobody here because they all know here, you know. This is my night, my moment, you know. I feel like I should really, like, enjoy. That's it. And be happy forever. I make history tonight. Guys, like, nobody ever did that before. Like, that is amazing. Like, incredible. Like, I have to watch the fight again and just enjoy because I knew, you know, something in my life, something big is gonna happen. But like sometimes like surprised, you know, like how big it is, more big than we like thought. But I was ready for, you know, every single thing come out. I was ready, and me and my coach, like, what me without those guys, you know. So I have a couple moments in the fight when she connected a punch, say like, so she's not gonna knock me out. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna put my hand down and go for. And my coach telling me like, no, don't do that. Put your hands up. Go back. Don't do that. So, you know, you have to have somebody like that. Your coach have to be ready for everything. Really the fighters, the fighter. Especially me, like I'm aggressive. You know, I have to have somebody to bring me back. Sometimes I'm a lioness. I don't care. I'm going. And then my coach like, Epa, no, don't do that. And tonight they was amazing tonight. I don't know if you guys heard them. They was like incredible.
And what was it like fighting to defend your title in an empty arena? Something you've not experienced a fight of this magnitude in with that environment. What did that feel?
It was cool. I heard my corner, you know. That was amazing. But of course we missed the fans, you know. We missed all the crazy, all the things. But I was very smooth the whole week. And that is making me happy. Because, you know, like, it's not that I don't like it, but I still, like, have to, like, get used to media, fans, all those things. It's still harder for me to do all those things, travel all the time, like, but I get a lot better, you know. So this week was perfect. I was in the hotel, doing nothing, just, like, chill, and was very smooth. But, of course, we missed the fans.
And last question from me. What was it you said to Felicia afterwards? You gave her your belt and, you know, you said some words between the two of you. What did you say?
I lost before. I know, like, how she feeling, you know. I give it because, like, she can at least, like feeling the belt. I know she didn't get it, but she can feel it a little bit, you know. She fight for the belt tonight. And at least she can have, like, touch and see. You know, I just want to be nice to her. Like, she's a good girl. She gave me a present for Reagan, like in the weigh-ins. That was pretty cool, very cute. And, yeah, I think she's awesome, tough girl. And, yeah, I'm like, very honored to share the cage with her tonight.
You're amazing, Amanda, and thank you everything you do for this sport.
Amanda, you hit her with some very big shots in there. Were you disappointed at all that you weren't able to finish her? Did you think that you were going to be able to get the knockout?
No, actually, I'm not disappointed. I did everything that I was supposed to, you know. I want to hang in there with 5 rounds, you know, and I did it tonight. And, yeah, like, I proved, like, I'm better. I was better in everywhere. And, yeah, I have some fun tonight for sure.
I was going to ask you, because it looked like in the beginning you were avoiding the grappling, try to keep it standing up, and by the end of the fight, you were engaging in the grappling and taking her down. So was that the game plan, or did you just kind of want to
This is the strategy right there. You have to have a strategy. You cannot go, oh, I'm going to take her down, I'm going to go for, no. I have to feel my opponent first. And when I felt, when she come to clinch me, I saw she's not always that strong, you know. And from that moment, now I can use my wrestling. Now I can go to the ground. But I have to feel my opponent. I cannot go forward without know what is she capable of. And what's the strategy, you know? Everything have to be like in the time, in the right moment, in the right time, like my coach tell me.
And obviously you have a lot of options because you're the champion of 2 divisions. But help us understand your schedule. We know you've got a family, you know, growing this year. So how do you see the rest of the year playing out? We know we don't have an opponent yet, but like a date. I mean, is there a time that you think you'll be ready to come back to fight?
Yeah, break for sure. Like I have to see what is going on with my legs. I always get hurt with this leg. I don't know what is going on. And I have my baby's coming. In 3 months, she's going to be here. I have to organize a lot of things. Her room is like, I have to do so many things. And I really need a break right now.
You think you'd fight again before the end of the year, or do you think maybe maybe off for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think it's maybe off for sure. I have to do a couple things and be ready for my baby.
Amanda, Jim Greasehaber, cage side seat. I know when I had kids, I didn't have them, but you know what I mean. When I became a dad, I had to give up everything for the kids' room. So with all these belts and now the baby coming, do the belts get put away because the baby's room needs the space, or how do you work that out?
The belts stay in the living room, and we have plenty of space for the baby, for the belt, and I just need to organize her room and everything. So we have a lot of presents already. We didn't even have a place to put it. And yeah, I'm very excited. But I have plenty of space for everybody, you know?
Winning will do that, especially at a time like this. And Dana was talking about how you guys are the only sport going and everybody's doing really well. Numbers look awesome tonight. You're on top of the world. I mean, you're in that conversation not only as the greatest female fighter of all time, but in the conversation as the greatest fighter of all time. You have the baby coming, your marriage, everything in life. You're always smiling. Perfect. You're always happy.
Perfect life.
Could it be any better for you right now?
Yeah, perfect. Like, just like live this fun ride and enjoy every single day, you know. Be a good person. The life will give you back, you know. I feel like now, and like always, the life is going to give me back because I don't want to do anything bad for nobody, you know. I just want to keep making history and do my thing, you know. Have my family, my baby.
How much more history is there to make? You're running out of people to fight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm very excited to see my next step, too. Thank you.
Amanda?
Oi.
Vou fazer em português, tá?
Faça.
Amanda, o Dana White comentou, muito se fala, né? Quem seria a próxima, enfim. Parece que é difícil achar um próximo nome. E ele mencionou que você está numa posição que fez ele lembrar o Anderson Silva e John Jones no ápice dos dois. Parece que limpou a categoria. É sempre difícil achar mais alguém, mas no final ele falou, sempre há mais alguém. Como você vê essa comparação feita pelo Dana White e quem seria esse alguém?
Legal, fico muito feliz, né? Estou provando que eu sou a melhor, né? Que não só os homens podem fazer história, como a mulher também, eu, né? Então, assim, não sei, não tenho nome ainda, eu tenho que sentar, tenho que voltar para academia, conversar com meus coaches e ver o que é que vai ser possível. Quem está aí no ranking, não sei ainda, mas não estou pensando agora, nisso agora. Eu tenho que voltar, descansar um pouco, aproveitar um pouquinho e daí a gente vê mais para frente. Com certeza, o UFC vai fazer, as meninas, vai fazer mais lutas aí, entendeu? Já vai aparecer um nome e aí a gente tem muita coisa aí.
Certo. Sobre a luta em específico, ela recebeu, se olhar no Fight Metrics, você vai ver uma quantidade absurda, muito maior de golpes do que você recebeu. Te surpreendeu a resistência dela? Porque não só ela absorvia, como ela nunca se entregou, né? Ela não parecia se entregar, sempre estava ativa, embora muito pior na luta. Te surpreendeu essa resistência?
Não me surpreendeu. Eu sabia que a Felicia era uma atleta muito dura, né? E eu falei a semana inteira, essa menina é dura, não pense que essa menina é fraca, não. E ela provou hoje, entendeu? E eu precisava dos 5 rounds, velho. Eu precisava, entendeu? Tinha momentos ali que eu poderia entrar, eu poderia ir lá, várias vezes que eu botei ela para baixo, eu poderia entrar e poderia ter finalizado a luta. Mas meus coaches também falando para mim, deixa ela levantar, pô, a gente tá bem em cima. A gente não precisa ir ficar lá no chão. E os fãs gostam disso, né? Os fãs gostam de ver ação. E eu acho que o strike é uma grande parte dessa coisa toda dos fãs, né? Mas eu provei que eu sou melhor que ela hoje em tudo. No wrestling, no jiu-jitsu, eu quase finalizo ela, pô. Se me desse mais uns minutinhos, eu tinha finalizado, né? Mas, assim, a menina dura pra caramba. Ela tem um pontapé muito bom e tem um Superman elbow muito bom. Então, eu estava muito meio que avoid, né? Tipo, eu tava ali para chegar pertinho, para não tomar o contragolpe, né? Coisa que ela é muito boa. Então, eu tinha que estar atenta ali, tinha que ficar tranquila e finalizar a luta. A gente queria, não só eu como meus coaches também, a gente queria esses 5 rounds para provar, para acabar com essa história que a Amanda não pode ir não chega nos 5 rounds. Eu chego até 6 agora, até 10 se quiser. Mas hoje foi 5 e eu fiz muito bem.
Foi bom tirar esse alívio aí agora provando que faz 5 rounds tranquilamente?
Pô, eu já tinha feito, né? Mas é porque você sabe, o povo vai falar de qualquer jeito. Não tem segredo. Você ganhando ou perdendo, sempre vai ter alguma coisinha ali que não deu certo.
Última pergunta para mim. Você mencionou que talvez tire um tempo indeterminado, sem data para voltar, até porque sua filha vai nascer. Você pode falar um pouco sobre isso? Quanto tempo você quer ficar longe? Como é que está o planejamento do nascimento da sua filha? Essa nova etapa? Como é que você analisa esse ano, né? Quais são os planos para esse ano como um todo? Talvez você não lute esse ano, é isso?
Agora a atenção é toda para Nina, né? Foi toda para mim, ela grávida, e lá junto comigo ali, fazendo toda a presença, mesmo grávida, com toda a dificuldade, né, da gravidez, sendo que ela tá bem pra caramba, viu? Não tá mal, não. Tá fazendo manopla, tá tudo correndo. E assim, eu preciso de um tempo. A gente precisa organizar as coisas em casa, não tem nada pronto para a criança ainda. Então, a gente realmente precisa de um tempo para organizar tudo. E depois vem o nascimento também, a gente precisa daquele tempo para se organizar também. Pô, marinheiro de primeira viagem, hein? Precisa de um tempo. Provavelmente aí só ano que vem.
Amanda, right down here to your left. Hey, I don't know what else to say, champ, besides congratulations on
Thank you.
Just another amazing performance, title defense, and of course making history like we knew you would. You talked earlier about just being able to see everything and do everything, execute exactly, and I watched it, and I mean, I'm telling you, everything you did was, I've never seen you look physically so just on point. And you talked about being able to hear the coaches. You think being in the Apex made a huge difference?
Yes, was good for me. And the small cage helped me a lot too, because I was be able to put my takedowns together, see everything very closely. Because the big cage is like you take time to do, you know, you have to set up more, you have to like put her in the right place and take a lot of time. In the small cage, you'll be able to put it right away. And you'll be able to do the things. So that helped me too. And be able to listen to my coach tonight was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, not just the combos. Like, you landed combos that made me go, wow, she is super tough, because she should be, you should be putting her away with some of these shots. And yeah, and every time you sprawl, it was just right on point. Everything.
Yeah, I know she's very tough. You know, I know. And fights never is going to be like, walking in, knock people out and get out. You're gonna find those people, you know. This is MMA. When people step in that cage, they all ready to go, you know. But tonight I'm very happy to be able to go to 5 rounds with her, and I dominated, you know. I dominated everything. She was tough, but she knows be able to handle. Like, she knows be able to show up, you know. I dominated the whole thing in everywhere, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, for me, like I said, that was the biggest surprise. Like, what was the biggest surprise to you? Was there anything in her game whatsoever that felt that could be threatening or that you stayed away from? Or once you felt that you were dominating, did you just basically feel in total control? Because it looked it.
I always think about it, 2 things. Was the kick and in the Superman elbow. She had very good. She opened cyborg with that technique. And I was like, I have to be aware for that. But when I saw she don't have the right time, because the way I move is something different nobody see before. When every single opponent step in front of me, they see I really move in like nobody ever moved before. So I feel like she have a hard time to figure out the kicks, the other techniques, and I pick her apart.
And one more. And then, yeah, so we saw the dominance in every fashion, especially the striking. In the scarce opportunities that she had to play jiu-jitsu, how was her jiu-jitsu game? Did you see anything like really impressive there, or just pretty easy for you?
Honestly, I know she's black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. I know I'm better than her the ground. I proved it tonight. I mount. I did whatever I want. I almost submit to her. And I feel like she tried. I feel like she tried, but I always do everything so perfect, block everything, and I don't think she expected that. I thought she might thought her jiu-jitsu was better than mine, but I know I was surprised with her jiu-jitsu. I know I was be able to like really handle, and I feel like tonight I really did it amazing, even in the ground.
Well, congratulations
Thank you.
again, and blessings to you and your family.
Thank you.
Amanda, somebody down the street tonight bet $1 million on you to win $160,000.
Dana told me.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Awesome. He, now he's very happy. He probably go and drink something, eat. He should have asked me to go with him.
Also, you are a big favorite in this fight. You're a big favorite against any opponent that they could put in front of you. How much pressure, I guess, does that make you feel that you're always going to be expected to win fairly convincingly, no matter who they put in there with?
No pressure, because I was the other way around one day, and I handled very well. Now, honestly, I just enjoy this ride. It's not to pressure me, because I be involved. My coach is very smart. Every time we have a fight coming up, every time I go to the gym just to work out, we always training smart. And this is making me who I am today, in the top of the mountain. I did something tonight and nobody ever did it before in the sport, in the MMA history. I'm the best guy. I'm the greatest. Look at this. Nobody did it before. That is incredible. I'm very happy, and I can't wait to see my daughter.
And that's the last thing for me. Is motherhood the biggest challenge that you could have right now?
What? Say it again?
Is motherhood maybe tougher than any opponent you could even face right now? Is that the toughest challenge?
No. Actually, I'm very happy, excited for this moment. I never think I would be, but honestly, I'm going to take, maybe, this rest of the years off just to think about my daughter. I'm very excited. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
There she is, the greatest women's MMA fighter of all time, and definitely one of the greatest to ever do it, regardless of gender. Amanda Nunes, the Lioness, the UFC Women's Bantamweight and Featherweight Women's Champions. Another incredible performance tonight. What else can you say about her? I mean, what she has done will probably never happen again. And I know we've had this conversation about Ronda Rousey in the past, but Amanda Nunes is just almost untouchable right now. It seemed like she had some hiccups in the Durandamy fight, but she answered those questions tonight in a big way against a really tough and gritty Felicia Spencer. Congratulations to Amanda Nunes and to all the big winners tonight. I think us as fans and those covering this event via the media, I think we're all winners tonight. This was a great card. And for those who poo-pooed this card throughout the build-up to this thing, shame on you. And I hope you didn't watch the fights, because you missed out on a damn good one.
You know
what
what
I mean?
we call those people, Mike?
What do we call them?
Jabronis.
I mean, I don't think we can say anything better than that at this point. So for those who watched it, you're glad you did. If you didn't watch it, you're going to regret it. And I don't care if you regret it. That's just the way I see it. So, Jose, any final thoughts from a chaotic fight week and all sorts of curveballs?
that chaotic considering like I was talking with Oscar of the Mac Life about this, like, and even Alec, we're gonna get kicked out real soon, so I gotta make this real quick. Like, there's a lot of media here that wasn't in Jacksonville and wasn't here last week. So like for the few of us that were here, this is old hat, and now we're seeing more and more and more media. Now it's starting to feel like an old fight week, outside of being quarantined and no workouts and still the virtual media day. It's starting to feel more and more normal. So I can't wait to see the new changes because it seems like every fight card there's something new. I can't wait to see what's next.
Jose, thank you for your hard work as always, sir. And with that, I believe we're gonna jump out of here, and then we're gonna be joined by Alex K. Lee. Go ahead, sir.
Before I go, shout out to everyone at MMA Fighting and my partner in crime, Alex Savas, who again killed it this week, and Esther, Casey, Damon, Brian, Steven, AK. You guys all know. Peace. We're getting kicked out real quick.
Yeah. Here we go. All right, we're getting out of here too. Post-fight show coming up, and a whole lot more. We're not going anywhere. We'll see you later.
Ooh, now we get hyped up for Jessica I versus Cynthia Calvillo.
Yay.